Hi, my name is Diana. I'm the program coordinator for the Buchanan Area Senior Center. Thank you so much for joining us today at Fireplace Conversations. We are featuring Jess Minks here at the center. He is a board member, and I'm going to turn it over to Jess to let us know how did he get involved with the Buchanan Area Senior Center, what influenced him, what gave us his passion to become a board member, and how long he's been with us. Jess?
Thank you. I became interested in working with the senior center as I was working with the former treasurer, Brett Witkowski, here in Berrien County. We were working on folks that had delinquent taxes, on property taxes. And we set it up to start a payment program. And at that time, there were only 2 other counties in the whole state of Michigan doing this. And Brett approached me because back then I was going to the county commissioner meetings every Thursday.
Okay.
And I've been a vocal person quite a few years representing working people. So when it came time to speak at the county commissioner meetings, I was one of those people that would stand up and say what was on my mind. And sometimes it went over well, and sometimes I got some dirty looks, and we had some very interesting conversations. And Brett came to me and said, I'm doing a bipartisan thing on this delinquent taxes. I'd like for you to become involved. And he said, would you be interested in sitting down with me and going over what all's involved? He said, we're just starting this up. And I said, yeah, I'd like to find out about it and see if I could be of any help. And we started out with our first offer of giving people a chance to sit down with the treasurer, just them and him, and set out a payment plan for them to pay their property taxes so they wouldn't lose their property and have to go in and bid on it in an auction, countywide auction. Well, really, nationwide, anybody could come in and post the money and bid on the properties that were up. And we started out in Niles, and we were going to start at 9 o'clock. And Brett called me the day before, and he said, could you show up a little early for this, kind of help set things up? I said, yeah, I'll do that. And I showed up about 7:45 when the library opened at 8 o'clock. We went in, didn't think anything about it. We were setting up, and all of a sudden we looked over in the east side there where the library's, a lot of the stuff's at with the plants and things on the east side.
On the round, yes.
Yeah, the round part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were about 10 or 15 people sitting in there. And I said, when did they come in? She said, oh, right behind us. And we went ahead and started setting up, and Brett got there about 8:15. Looked back out there, the place was full. There wasn't any place for anybody to sit.
Oh, no.
And we didn't know who came in what order.
Right.
Brett looked at me and he said, you're a big mouth. You go out and tell them who's in what order. I said, oh, thanks a lot, Brett. And he just laughed. He said, hey, got to keep it out for everybody. So I went out and explained it to the people that we'd be coming back and passing out numbers. I went back, and the lady that was working at the library, Laura, she said, I got numbers. She said, that might help us. I said, okay. So I went and passed out numbers. Well, there was an argument started. That person said that you came in late after me. I'm in front of you. I should have your number. You should have my number. No. Then they went, and I said, hold on, time out. I said, let's keep it friendly. I took a quarter out of my pocket, and I said, I'm going to flip it. You call it. I flipped the coin, and he missed it, and I said, you get the first number. The guy didn't like it, but he laughed about it.
Yeah.
We went through and we serviced people from 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Wow.
And had people sitting there waiting. Well, the library had only agreed to let us work till noon. Then we had so many people, they let us go till 4. So we stayed till 4, and we set it up that the following Wednesday we would come back and we would do it again.
Okay.
And there were 2 ladies that worked at the courthouse that knew Brett, that had agreed to come down and help him a little bit. Well, we got together on Tuesday and decided, and they made up the numbers and sign-in sheets. We started putting it all together. We went back on Wednesday, and we were going to start at noon. When we got there at 10 o'clock, we were told the whole rotunda's waiting on you. And we said, what? They said, there's been people sitting in there since 9 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
They've found books. They've been sitting and waiting. And she said, I gave them numbers. And we said, well, we got numbers. She said, well, then you go trade your numbers for their numbers. So I got that job, going out and getting the guy to get to do all that. And then we went through it on Wednesday. And Brett said, this is fantastic to get this kind of a turnout. He said, would you be available next Saturday? I said, well, yeah, where are we going to go? He said, I'll set one up in Benton Harbor.
Oh, wow.
So we went to Benton Harbor, and when he posted that we would start at 11 o'clock, give us time. And we got there, and it was quite a turbulent morning when we got there at 9 o'clock. I had to get between some people, and we ended up calling the police department to come across the street to the library to help keep everything calm. And we went through. We did it on Saturday. Then we turned around and went back on Monday once again, and it was full again. And we got through everybody. And Brett said, this is really getting really interesting, all these people. And he said, what do you think? I said, my only question is this, Brett. What do you predict the payment rate's going to be? 6 months from now, when these people are supposed to make these payments for 6 months down the road, how many of them are going to make every payment? He said, that's what we'll have to find out. Then we left there, and we got through in Benton Harbor. Then we came down and we did one at Buchanan Library.
Okay.
And we had 100 people in the city of Buchanan and Buchanan Township and Bertrand Township that I can remember, and there were others. I'm sure there were some people from Billy Dipple, but for the southern part of the county, on the western side, we had over 200 people show up on those 2 days.
Wow.
When we decided then we were going to go up and do one on the northeast part. So we went up into that area, and he found us a place to go, and we went, and we're going to do it on a Tuesday evening, and we were going to start at 6 o'clock, go from 6 till the library closed. Well, at 9 o'clock for times the library closed, we still had 56, 58, something like 50 and 60 people still sitting there waiting to have their conversation with the treasurer. And in that conversation, what he would do was sit down with the people. They would go over the whole situation, how much they owed, what percentage was, and what, all this. Then they would work out a payment agreement. And they would sign off, and he would sign off. And then they didn't have to make a payment that day.
Okay.
And that thrilled a lot of people because they brought what they could, but they got to wait for a month to make the payment. I saw gentlemen leave that library, all the libraries. And these guys were guys that didn't shed a lot of tears in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Tough guys, been through a lot in their life. I've seen these gentlemen shed tears because they got to go home and tell their wives and family they don't have to move. They're not going to lose their homes.
I got goosebumps. Such gratitude, appreciation.
And the part of it was and I still tear up over that, sitting there watching these people come out And these were guys that were still working, had families, were struggling to make the meat, and they went out of there with tears.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
We had, at the end of the first year, a 93% completion rate. 93% of the people that signed up for the payment plan made the payment every month.
Okay.
That was
Yeah.
the first one. The last one we did, when we got through with that, Brett would bring us down to the hilltop here in Buchanan.
Yeah.
We loved to come there, and the four of us and would come down, and he wanted to buy the lunch for us. We'd have lunch. The last time that we met, and it worked before he resigned as the treasurer, 97% of the payments were made.
So
That
huge.
was unbelievable.
And then when was this? How long ago was this happen? When they had this opportunity to do?
Big bird.
Well, how long ago?
This was 6 years ago, I think.
Okay, so this is very recently.
It's been recently, yes.
Yes.
And that enthralled me to become involved with the senior center. I've always been in and out and kind of involved somewhat with other things I had going on, being on the road commission, different things. But when we did the one in Buchanan and the one in Niles, I was amazed at the people that the senior center serves were sitting there in there waiting to try not to lose their homes. They were seniors, people that I'd seen here, people I'd seen throughout Niles, Buchanan, and different things that I was involved in. People that I never imagined were having those struggles and those worries. And they were so happy that that program Brett put in place, and I was a small part of, helped them for so long. And then I found out that there were going to be some openings at the senior center on the board. And somebody came to me and said, would you consider that? I said, we've seen you at different things and politically and with the board of commissioners and the treasurer and the road commission. Would you become part of the senior center board? And I said, well, what would I have to do? They said, I'll come to a meeting once a month. I said, okay. We'll see where it goes. I'll give it a shot. I come to fill in the last year and a half, 2 years of the last term. And I became very, very entwined on what was going here very quickly because I saw how it was helping so many people. And it made me feel good to be helping people feel better about themselves.
Yeah.
And so I became involved, and then I was asked if I would accept another full term. And I said, life circumstances right now aren't good. My wife at that time was fighting cancer. I said, I will, but I can't guarantee you that I'll be there every day for everything that's going on if it depends on where her
health and
health and everything.
Your
And
priority.
everybody was very understanding, and I got involved. And after she passed away, I became even more involved and really wanting to help because so many people here made me feel blessed to have them in my life.
Oh my goodness. Oh.
And brings back some memories.
Oh, I'm sure that does. I'm sure.
And, but I've enjoyed very much working with Adam and Roe when she was a chair and all the people involved and learning and getting to come in and watch them prepare the meals before the virus hit.
Yes.
And watch the smiles on the faces. What's fun now is to sneak over on the back side of the parking lot and watch the seniors come and get their lunch. And the things that go on in the garage, those sort of things.
Oh, for the commodities.
For the commodities. I helped serve the commodities at one time. And I enjoyed that. But now it's watching the commodities and people picking up their lunch and coming and using the facilities that as they become more available. And I stopped yesterday and I heard one lady talking about the movie that she got to see, and,
Yes.
and all the expressions of talking about it. It really, really makes you appreciate what we're doing for one another as a people. That's what serving is about, and it's quite interesting to hear the seniors that come here that this is their communication network. My wife at this time and I made the calls early on when the virus first started.
Okay, you helped, yeah.
We helped with that.
The compassionate
With
callers.
the compassion calls. And we both laughed because she would do them on Monday and I would do them on Wednesday.
Okay.
And we talked about the people that we call. We knew when we called, well, and I had quotes behind names, and it was -30, -1 hour, -45, -15. You knew about how long you were going to be conversing with these folks and I kept notes on what was of interest, what was going on. And it started out, we were doing that from like 8:30, 9 o'clock till about noon. And then Mondays and Tuesday became from 9 o'clock till 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And we visited with those folks, and it was funny that we got through with that. And she looked at me and she said, "Makes you feel good to get to hear what they've got to say and make them feel like somebody cares." And it really did. And we worked with that for a while. Then it backed off during the virus thing when we had to keep the daughter at home and do homeschooling. And that's a chore.
Yeah, that homeschooling. I'm so glad my children are adults. Even though I have one in college, she's very self-sufficient.
And well, my stepdaughter's special needs, so we work with Risa and
Oh, nice.
the tablet and that sort of thing, and trying to keep up. And she wants the senior center to get back up and going again, because I got to bring her down here one time. Is you got to see some folks and talk to them.
Your daughter?
And that just made her day, that she went back home telling Mom all about all the people she talked to and the things that gave her, and it made her day, and I think it made some other folks' days. It made my day to see her happy and smiling. Yes. And now I'm just kind of backed off a little bit till we get through with this virus thing with the homeschooling, because when you start at 8 o'clock in the morning and you don't get done till 2 o'clock in the afternoon,
it's a lot of work.
It's especially when you have somebody sitting there saying, "I hate doing this, I hate doing this," and you have to keep encouraging them, get them to go through it. But it's helping and it's working. We're hoping that we'll be in a position to get her into school next semester. We've been working on wearing the mask.
Okay, good.
That was the big thing. We bought special made masks. We've got Mickey and Minnie, SpongeBob, 3 or 4 others that it's way beyond me. I can't keep up with all of them. And, it's something to, at my age and our age, trying to keep up with all the new things that have come out. That it's, but I really enjoy coming here and working with you, with Adam, and the board, and watch what's transpiring and what we're trying to put on the agenda to come up next to help the seniors and get ready to start getting more people to their doctor's visits when I get squared around here a little bit more, get a couple more things finished up. I want to go back. I used to take people to doctor's appointments.
Yeah, for our medical transportation.
And I want to go back to doing that to help out when they're short. Passing out the commodities, that's something I wouldn't mind doing. I like to stay active.
Yes, you do. He's a very busy man.
Yeah.
Very, very busy. I'm very blessed he took time out for us to do this interview.
It's a pleasure to be here and see the smiles.
It is.
the smiles that just burst out to you.
Yeah, it is.
They don't have to say anything, it's just watch their smile. And know that in some small way, my small participation in what we're doing helps make their lives better, and that makes my life better.
And that's purpose. I'm going to take this off for a second. And that's how, you know, we talked about this in another Fireplace Conversations. So the purpose for myself, and it sounds like for you, it is to be a service. It is to offer kindness. It is to offer joy and laughter, and to listen to somebody, to give hugs. And those things are so important for us to be able to be there and do that. But when we see the people, the patrons, the seniors here, and how we get to share time with them and share the opportunity for them to exercise, for them to learn about something new, to have the commodities and the Meals on Wheels. So grateful for Meals on Wheels Senior Nutrition Services. Thank you so much for choosing the Buchanan Area Senior Center as a location that to distribute the food to our community in Buchanan. We're very grateful for that. And there are so many programs that we in place. You know, we have the blood pressure checks, we have the eyeglass repair, we have the the hearing aids thing. The foot clinic right now, we're in the process. Advanced Medical has done some things differently, so we're working through how we can do the foot clinic.
That is fantastic. I
Yes.
use the foot clinic.
Yeah, it is fantastic.
I want to get it fixed, get it going again,
Yes.
because it's
it's necessary.
it is. It's
It's
something
necessary.
that some of us older folks can't
Yes.
bend over like we used to get to those toenails.
Yeah, it is so wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
So to sit here and to listen to Jess, and I don't know if I mentioned, he is the vice president for the board. He has recently took on that new responsibility, and back this fall when we went through the new members and the new, I just went like what I was saying.
No,
President,
officers.
vice president, new officers, thank you. But to sit here and to listen to you, and to not only to listen, but I could feel, I could feel the compassion from you. We both over here, our eyes were kind of watering up. To feel that type of compassion and caring, and I'm going to use the word love for another being, another human, and to care about making a difference in their lives. I'm so grateful to have this conversation with him, to get to know him this way. So I hope that you are also. I'm going to hand this back to you. I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
It's something called paying back what was done for me.
Okay.
I grew up a coal miner's son in a small town about the size of this. And if you lived on the east side of the railroad tracks, you were looked down on.
Okay.
Those living on the west side of the railroad track and close to it was the county seat, and the people that owned the local businesses and the successful lawyers and all of that lived on the west side. Well, if you lived on the east side and you were a young man in high school, and you happened to see a young lady in high school that you thought was a very attractive young lady, and ask her out on a date, she could tell you yes on Tuesday, and Thursday she'd come back and say, I can't go with you Friday night. My mom and dad said no, you live on the east side of the track.
Yeah.
So I know a little bit about the having somebody kind of spit in your face type of thing about saying, no, you can't date my daughter. And being the brash young man that I was and not afraid of anybody, I'd make arrangements to go to the senior center, the high school youth center. We call it the senior center because the seniors always ran it. It was a.
Oh, that's funny. How fun is that? Now here you are. Love it.
But we call it the seat because the seniors are the ones that sit and help the people that run it.
Okay.
And the funny part of it was, Mr. and Mrs. Engel lived 2 blocks away from me, but they run the senior center, which these people said, it's okay for the youth center or your senior center to be that way as long as you're running it, and my kids can go to that, but don't let them dance with that boy from over in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't stop some of us from asking them anyway. And so I've been through the part of life when things you're struggling, because I went through that with my father and my grandfather in the mines, and I know what it is to be told that when the blackberries and the raspberries are up, we knew where they were. We were shown and we were taught where they were when we were in junior high school. And you got two coal miners' buckets. They're about that tall, about that big around. And my dad made me a strap that over that, one on each side. My chore was to get up in the morning, take the nighttime bathroom bucket out and put it in the outhouse, pump the water and take it back out behind the outhouse, wash it out, take it back in the house, eat my breakfast, put my buckets on, and I went out and I picked a full bucket of blackberries or raspberries, whichever were up, whichever were close. I brought those back. Those my mother took. And she made jam and jelly and baked pies. And she canned the extra stuff that I brought and sold it.
Oh, wow.
People would buy it from her.
Okay.
The second time I went out, that was my money.
Oh, really?
If
So
I
they
picked
shared.
2 buckets
Oh
full,
my
I
gosh.
got the next 2 buckets full were my money. And I got 15 cents a bucket for it.
Woo!
Now you got to remember, 15 cents would buy 2 Cokes and 2 pieces of bubble gum.
A date?
6 cents a Coke. Penny for
Is
the
that what you
bubble
did? We use it for a date?
for a date, and then you could take that on your date with you.
Oh my gosh.
And then if you really wanted to be rich and show off, and get your older cousin, which I had an older cousin, his dad got killed in mine that was living with us.
Okay.
He would say, yeah, you and your girlfriend can ride in the back of the car, my girlfriend and I'll ride in the front of the car, but you got to buy the gas.
Okay.
And we'll take a ride and drive around. Well, gas was 7 cents a gallon. And he wanted 5 gallons. So there went the whole day's picking just to give him for gas money. And
I guess back then too for the cars, you didn't get much mileage, did you?
hey, when you're driving a 1947 Ford with the we chopped the top on it, cut the glass on it,
Oh my
took
gosh.
2 leaves off the back springs, had it lowered. We were the hot rods of the hot rods.
The bad boys.
Yeah. Yep, we were the bad boys. And we had a place just east of town that there was a strip of highway out in front of the county garage. And they took good care of that. That's where we went out and measured and found a 1/4 mile. That was our drag strip. We would go out, pull into the big parking lot for the county garage and line up on who was racing against who. And then there was this one girl, she just loved to wave the green flag. She'd stand between them and she would have it down and she'd bring it up and that meant go, and away we'd go. And we'd race that 1/4 mile and turn around and come back. And the East Enders used to take pretty good care of those boys from the west side of town.
You're the boss.
When we knew how to take a carburetor and turn it into a 4-barrel carb and drop the shocks.
Oh my
all that
gosh.
stuff.
Oh, look at our Jess.
We used to do that every Saturday night.
Oh my
Friday
gosh.
night was either football games or basketball games.
Wow.
Football coach lived in the east side of town, so in 7th grade we were practicing with the all-state football players. Believe it or not, in 1956, 57, the little city that I lived in was one of the top 10 college football or high school football teams
Oh, really?
in the state of Michigan.
So you lived in Michigan?
No, this was
Pennsylvania.
Southern Indiana.
Oh, Southern Indiana, okay.
Yeah, they were in Southern Indiana.
Okay.
And his name was Coach Jones, and he ended up going from our high school to the Indiana State University. He became their head football coach at Indiana
Oh my
State
gosh,
University.
that's exciting.
And he had some guys that started working in the mines when they were 14, 15 years old. Lied about their age, quit school, went to work at the mine because some of them, their father's black lung had kicked in, they couldn't work. Others had got hurt at the mine. Others, their fathers just passed away and other things. And so they quit school and went to work. And their life would get straightened out. They'd go back to high school. They got to play on the football team. Well, these are guys that have been swinging a 20-pound sledge 8-10 hours a day for a year.
They're strong then.
Oh, 6'4", 6'5", 210, 230.
Wow.
When I was practicing against them, I got run over like you wouldn't believe. But I watched those guys go through that. Matter of fact, I just got word from the girl that was our high school secretary for our class that a good friend of mine, he just passed away 2 days ago. I found out yesterday that he passed away.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
And he was Marshall McEmurray.
Marshall?
Marshall was his name. And he became quite the fisticuff guy because they made fun. A lot of the bullies like to make fun of Marshall when we were younger.
Okay.
And then Marshall hit his growing spree and went up to about 6'3", and then went to work in the mine and come back to school. And when he come back to school and they started bullying him, he would just pick them up, stuff them in the locker, and they didn't get out till he let them out.
Oh my gosh.
We had some rough and tumble years in the late 50s. But it was something to be able to talk about now. People just can't seem to imagine the feel anymore of watching everything just almost collapse around your family because there's no income.
Yeah.
And I understand a lot of the seniors now that have counted on their Social Security, their pension, their investments, and things haven't blossomed like they were thinking they would.
Right.
And the struggles that I see
Right.
here,
Because over the last
hand
couple
that
decades.
lunch
Yeah.
and deliver those lunches. I delivered a few of them. We were making the compassion calls, and some of the ladies were talking and let it slip. That was the meal of the day. So my wife and I decided maybe we needed to cook up a few meals and deliver them. So she put the stuff she needed for a recipe for some goulash and soup and things, and we bought some containers, and we took those on different days and dropped them off at different places for some of the people, and felt good, that little bit of extra. And we did it twice, and then the things began to pick up for them as we continued making our call. We found out things were going a little better, but just those 2 times, just the self-redeeming feeling that you get from helping. And that's what the senior center's about, helping.
Oh, I love this interview. Yeah, he's been talking so much about gratitude and compassion and giving back, from his childhood and paying everything forward and helping other people and understanding the importance of not just the programming, but also with, like I said, with the senior nutrition services and Meals on Wheels, and being a space here at the Senior Center to offer those programs with the commodities for food. And we do not know somebody's story. We don't know why, as he was mentioned, especially, here in Michigan, in the Southwest community here in Berry County, over the last few decades, we were very interested. We were very vibrant. Going back in the 40s and 50s, Benton Harbor area was very vibrant, industrial, and all the different factories that they had. And then we go into the tool and die manufacturing and the die casting manufacturing here. And so a lot of these people and it was good jobs. They were wonderful jobs. And because
Secure.
secure,
Very secure
yes.
at the time.
Secure, and then unfortunately, I don't want to get into this, but going to China, going to Mexico, everything got exported out. And so these families, even like with Clark, talk about Buchanan, and with Electric Voice and Clark Credit Company and some of the other companies, just in this small community here, how everything has affected this community over the last probably 30 decades. And these are our neighbors, and these are our people who come into the center, and how they had to revamp their entire life and how they do things. And what do you do when you going from one position into another position, that space in between? And then and then also with over the last few decades with the stock market going up and going down, that plays with your retirement as well. And thank you, Jess. Thank you so much. Thank you for just really bringing it out to us in the reality. This is true. This is real stuff that's happening. And it's things that, like myself, even though I know that because I've seen family members affected by this, but to be reminded that we do not know somebody's story, to be reminded that they're still human, to be reminded that they still, you have a wife, and back then the wives didn't work outside the home. So their income, was based on their husband.
There's jam and jelly to sell it.
Making the jam and jelly to sell it for the families, exactly. So
Doing the laundry.
yes,
So,
helping out in any way they can to bring in some extra.
there's one thing I'd like to add.
Yes, please.
If you're watching this, remember one thing. You're not judged when you come into senior center. You're not judged if you want and need a meal, if you need the foot clinic, if you need help with your taxes, if you need help with different programs. You're not judged when you come in here, because we've all been there. And we all know that could be us next, and we don't judge people. We simply want to help your life be easy and better and let you enjoy it. That's what it's about. There's no judgment. There's no guessing or second guessing. It's just being here because we may be knocking on your door. We don't know. And you may be the one helping us out down the road, just like we're trying to help you or anybody else. So please, don't worry about being judged. Use the facility, use what we have to offer, and be proud that you're part of Buchanan Area Senior Center, and come and enjoy it.
Oh my God, I have tears. Oh my gosh, tears of love and joy. I just, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to change this around a little bit. We're getting close to the end of the interview. Jess, what makes you laugh?
A really good old-fashioned Red Skelton show.
Oh my gosh!
If I could bring up those Red Skelton shows and bring them back.
Oh.
Red Skelton grew up 30 miles south of where I grew up. My father actually knew him and met him when he was skating in a skating rink in Vincennes, Indiana. He met Red Skelton. And that was a thing that in our family, with our 17-inch black and white TV that I mowed yards all summer to help get, we got to watch Red Skelton show. Now, sometimes I didn't get to see it all because I had to go outside with the pipe wrench and turn the antenna just a little bit so he'd yell at me when to stop. And then when I let go, it'd move. He'd have me move it again, and he'd be sitting in there watching Red Skelton. I'd have to run back in to watch it all. But those old type of TV shows make me laugh.
Oh wow, that's a good one. That's good. One last question. What kind of wisdom would you like to share with all of us?
What kind of what?
Wisdom? What kind of wisdom?
As my grandfather told me, he was president of the local that I worked in when I started working in the mines. I didn't start till late. I had a wife and 4 kids at that time. And I wasn't making enough money to feed a set of crippled sons, so my grandfather got me a job in the coal mine. And my words of wisdom are this: share as a senior with those younger than you your love and thoughts of how they can make their lives better. Don't be bashful. Don't brush it off. Share it, because they will realize your knowledge and your love for them is very, very valuable. You've lived what they could be going through, and that step ahead will put them being very secure in their mind that they're doing the right things. Come to the senior center, enjoy it, and share that with the family, so when it's their time to become the seniors, they know that it's a family tradition to come here, enjoy the facility, to share what this facility has, and for them to offer their help and guidance.
That was really good. I am so grateful. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you really was inspired as much as I was inspired by Jess, and sharing love and kindness with everybody. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Diana. I'm the program coordinator for the Buchanan Area Senior Center. Thank you so much. Have a blessed day.